Hello and welcome to the Outer East Football Netball Show, brought to you by Gameface. I'm Adam Miller, and once again alongside me in the studio is Steph Barkers. Good afternoon, Steph.
Good afternoon, Aidan. A massive weekend this weekend, of course. We have our Premier Division Grand Finals, and then next week is our last show for the year.
That's it, the penultimate show this week, the last week of football and netball for the entire season before we move on to 2025. Looking forward to it. Coming up in episode 22, Senior Men's and A-Grade Grand Final previews. We break down this Saturday's Grand Finals and chat about your opinions on who will be premiers, the winning margin and the best on ground.
We have plenty of interviews, as we always do. This week we've got Narre Warren's Chayce Tonna and Wandin's Chayce Black after their prelim wins that see them advancing to tomorrow's Grand Finals.
Also going to review the Premier and Unders Awards night from Monday.
And our in-studio guest, now a 5-time competition Best and Fairest winner, Wratten from Powelltown. All right, well, let's get straight into it. As we did last week, we're going straight into the grand final previews. We're going to start off with the footy, which, as we all know, is Narre Warren versus Wandin. Very recent history in regards to these two teams. Last time they played each other in a grand final was just last year. In that match, Wandin did defeat Narre Warren 21-15, 1-4-1 to 11-12-78, so a pretty convincing win. They haven't played each other in this year's final series because that's just not the way that it worked out, but the home and away record in 2024 does sit with Narre Warren 2-0. So Narre, of course, finished top of the ladder. Wandin finished third. But Aidan, I'm interested to hear your match preview for this Saturday.
Yes, as you mentioned, Steph, they have played each other twice throughout the home and away season, which Narre won both of those games. Plenty of key matchups coming up in this game. I mean, the midfield battle's going to be huge. You know, the likes of Tonna, Kurt Muter and Brad Scowls up against Aaron Mullet, Paddy Brazizi, and of course Chayce Black. Then down both ends of the ground, Joel Zeechman, Trent Papworth. Got to be looking after Clint Johnson and Paddy Hodgett, and then Lewin Jones and Sam Hodgett will probably have to look after Will Howe and Jesse Davies. So plenty of players to look out for who need to have a good day.
Absolutely. Massive names in our competition. Well, as we did last week, we put it out on Instagram to get your opinions on this grand final. So we'll start off with the wins and loss. So 51% think that the Pies are going to take it out, and 49% think that the Dogs are going to get the job done once again this year. Winning margin. So most people think that it'll be less than 30 points, so a pretty close one at 63%, while 37% think it will be more than a 30-point win. As far as best on ground, the name that came up the most for Narre Warren was Kurt Muter, which is probably no surprise, and for Wandin, Chayce Black or Aaron Mullet. You mentioned all those people in your preview as key players, so no shocks there.
Most certainly.
We did have Narre Warren and Rory Yalik, both of us in our bracketology.
Yes, we did, yep.
So now that we know that it's Narre and Wandin, has your opinion changed, or you still think Narre are going to be premiers?
Still going to back Narre. I think they'll fuel the disappointment of last year's grand final to get the edge this time. Yeah,
I agree with you. Best on ground?
Oh, gee, there's so many. As I say, there's so many players to pick from. I might go against the community. I might go with Joel Zeechman from Narre.
Interesting. Okay. And do you agree with the community that it's probably going to be a pretty tight one? It'll be less than 30, the margin?
You can never be quite sure with grand finals because obviously the mental aspect comes into it, but I'd like to think that it should be under 30 points.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's jump over to the netball. We obviously have Mount Evelyn versus Narre Warren. So Narre very lucky to have two of their teams in these two massive grand finals this year. For this grand final, obviously more recent history here because Narre Warren's last grand final was last year where they defeated Wandin 54-44, and Mount Evelyn's wasn't too long ago either, 2019 in Division 1, winning 32-29 over Mombok. So these two sides last played each other in the semi-final just 2 weeks ago. Mount Evelyn won that one 48-42, and including that semi-final, Mount Evelyn currently do have a 3-0 record this season against Narre. So let's get into the match preview for Saturday.
Yep, as you mentioned, Steph, played each other 3 times this year, Mount Ev, with all 3 of those wins, including 5 of the last 6. The only one, though, was last year's preliminary final, which Narre won by 3 goals. So they have been able to beat Mount Ev when it really mattered. So that certainly might give them a little bit of confidence that maybe this time around they can get the job done. Some of the key players, some of the key matchups through the mid-court, Tanner Wallace probably up against Britt Machado, and then down both ends, firstly, Gavin Dwyer probably looking after Rory Barr, but the big one Steph. The real big one, Caitlin Black v Aaron Bell, could decide the outcome of the game, I reckon, personally. Just about the two best players on the court. And, as I say, I think whoever can win that battle could potentially decide the result of the game. Yeah,
will definitely be a very interesting one to watch, that one for sure. Well, let's take a look at what our community think. This one is pretty tight. So the Rovers to win 56%, the Pies to win 44%. But again, most people do think it'll be a close one. So the margin less than 10 goals was 60%, more than 10 goals was 40%. And best on ground, well, it's the two people you just mentioned, Aiden.
Yep.
People have said Caitlin Black from Mount Evelyn and Aaron Bell from Narre.
Yep.
Okay, so in our bracketology, we did have Wandin and Mount Evelyn. I think you had Wandin as premiers. Yep. I had Mount Evelyn as premiers.
So I'm out.
Well, I'm not changing my opinion there, but now that you know who is in.
Yeah, look, I'll probably change to Mount Evelyn, I think, just on the recent record. They've had Narre covered, but that's probably how I'll go with you.
Yep, and winning margin, I think it will be less than 10. I agree with the majority there.
Yeah, it's always been pretty close, so yeah, I think I'll stick with the majority.
Yep, and I mean, I think we both agree best on ground, just like
I'm going to go left field again. I reckon Ella Bayliss might be a real shout for best on court. I think the matchup between KB and Aaron Bell will be really important, but I actually think Ella might be taking out the medal.
And we do have a bit of a special announcement, Aiden. If you want to let the viewers know, you do have someone joining you for commentary for the A grade this Saturday.
Right towards the end of my third season commentating, Steph, will be the first ever time I will have a co-commentator with me in the netball. So I'm sure all the netball listeners will be thrilled that they don't just have to listen to me trying to call the game. But we have managed to wrangle in Maddie George, has agreed to join us to do special comms on Saturday. So really looking forward to her insights, and I think she'll definitely bring some good energy to the call.
Absolutely. Very excited for that. And thank you to Maddie for joining us on Saturday.
Plenty of interviews again throughout the show this week. First up was with Narre Chayce Tonna over their win over Wandin, once again going through to another grand final. Well, here with Chayce Tonna after Narre Warren's preliminary final win. Once again in Premier Division A grade, Chelsea through to another grand final. Must be a good feeling.
Yeah, it's always great. But we've still got another job to go, so another big week, big training, and we haven't got it done over them yet, so big game.
Yep. Coming into today's game, you did have the 2 wins over Wandin. What were some of the plans coming into sort of keep that record going?
Yeah, we had a really big training. Obviously, they're very physical and always bring a tough contest to the day. So really getting our defenders to rough us up on in the circle and stuff was a big training thing.
No Grace Lolu or Porty Laban playing today. I believe they had other duties with their netball, but are they likely going to be back into the side next week?
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but no, unfortunately, they are in the Cook Islands for the Under-23 National Championship. So I thought Ruby just stepped it up, like second A-grade game for the year and whatnot. Under-17 player was just awesome. Yep. Awesome game.
Must be pretty handy having Aaron Bell to come back in to do a lot of the goal shooting duties as well.
Oh, 100%. When Ez said she might not be playing the rest of the year, we all got a bit upset, but now getting her back in, she's just taken a step up every week, and she'll be ready to go for next week.
Yep. As you mentioned, haven't had the greatest record against Mount Evelyn, who you come up against in this grand final. Is there anything you think you've pinpointed that hasn't worked for you so far that you might need to change for next week?
Yeah, we've got lots to go through on Thursday night at training, but we've identified a few things, and I'm sure we'll get them. I'm sure we'll have a good crack at getting them done.
Yep. Chayce, thank you very much for joining us, and good luck for next week's grand final.
Thank you very much.
And our second interview on the weekend just gone was with Wandin's Chayce Black after they defeated Woorollalek and are headed to the grand final tomorrow.
Well, we have Chayce Black with us after Wandin's preliminary final win here at Rob Porter Recreation Reserve. Once again, Chayce, back-to-back grand finals must be a great feeling.
Yeah, amazing feeling. We just wanted to play our way, played as a team, and yeah, it was awesome to get back there. It's really happy for the boys, and yeah, it's a massive achievement for us, so they're really good.
1-1 record against Woorollalek this year, mate. You got them over at Woori, they got you at Wandin. What were some of the plans coming into today's game?
We just wanted to play our way, use our legs, play fast. They were the main focuses, and just all went well today, and yeah, got the job done. So it was good.
Obviously in the Valley, used to playing in a lot more of the smaller grounds, mate. But here at Rob Porter, it's a lot bigger. Obviously, proper 50 arcs and much wider wings. How do you try to adapt to playing on a bigger ground?
Yeah, I think it's just getting it to the outside. Obviously, try and win it in the contest, and then spread from there, and just try and get it out. Yep. I think that's been one of our strengths this year, and when we get it right, it looks really good. So.
We've really noticed you throwing the magnets around a lot the last couple of weeks, mate. We've seen Mullet go in the middle, Jaworski in the middle. We even saw Todd Garner go forward today. Is there anything to that?
I think it's just throwing it around.
Yep.
We've got quite a talented list there, so it's nice to be able to throw the maggots around and know that guys are going to get the job done wherever they go. So,
yep. And playing Narre Warren again here, mate. You got him last year at the moment. Does that give you and the boys confidence that you can go again?
We're going to go in full swing, that's for sure. We're going to go in and go there to win. So, yeah, hopefully get it done.
Yep. Chayce, thank you very much for joining us today, mate, and good luck for next week.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
All right, well, as we did last week, we're going to give you a quick review of our Premier and Under Medal night. First and foremost, I wanted to have a chat about our 2 key winners on the night and what you thought of that. We'll start with the A-grade netball. The best and fairest winner, the Jodie Chandler medalist, I should say, was Caitlin Cook from Pakenham Lions. First of all, great to have Jodie there to be able to present her own medal. That was so awesome. And second of all, what an incredible story.
Yeah, most certainly. Of course, coming back from a knee reconstruction for Caitlin, she was a little bit shocked taking out the medal, and you can certainly understand why. You know, it's always going to be a tough road back from a whole season out with the knee reconstruction, of course. So it was absolutely magnificent to see her get up there, get the win. Really great story, of course. So well done to Caitlin.
And so good that both her parents were there on the night as well. So they were able to go take some photos together, and she was able to celebrate with her parents. So yeah, a really, really lovely story from the night. Of course, we also had our Smith Ramage medalist Zach Monkhorst from Woorollalek. Not his first competition BNF. He of course had one in 2019, and he was also a bit shocked that he got a second one, and like quite a while after his first in 2019. But very deserving. I thought his highlights showed sort of like the depth and the range that he has while playing. Like obviously his ruck work. There's a few goals in there that were quite impressive for someone so tall. But yeah, really another really deserving winner, and I think another good story.
No, most certainly he's a very versatile player. Zach obviously predominantly plays in the ruck, but you can throw him forward as well. You can even, get him behind the ball a little bit because he can read the play pretty well. He's almost like a fourth rover half the time, really, the way that he, the way that he does play. And obviously got a lot of pressure carrying that Monkhorst name. It's pretty big at Woorollalek and just the competition in general, but it doesn't really stop him at all. And he's had a fantastic season and was very well deserving of the medal.
So, of course, the all-important food review. We both had the same thing on Monday night, the barramundi. What did you think?
No, absolutely love the barramundi with a side of quinoa salad as well. Really good once again. Rochford absolutely nailing the job.
I loved that sauce, to be honest. That sauce was unreal. Yes. And yeah, the fish was lovely. So again, shout out to Rochford. We've had 2 amazing medal nights there, and we love you guys.
Yep. Ben, thank you for joining us in the studio today, mate. It feels like it's become a bit of a yearly tradition having you in the show after another Jim Wandin medal, but it's always wonderful to have you in nonetheless. So the first question we want to ask was, you have just won, it's your 5th Jim Wandin medal, best and fairest for last week, and you seemed quite surprised when you went up to accept the award. Can you run us through how you felt when it was announced?
Yeah, I was surprised. Like I said on the night, I felt like the 2 divisions merging this year, there was a lot better players this year. And, it definitely, as you can tell by our results, the competition is a lot stronger and, closer results at the top end. But, yeah, mate, I was obviously stoked to get it. Arnie Joy there giving me it. Yeah, incredibly humbling, really, really cool experience that I'll probably look back on when I'm retired, which probably won't be too far away, to be honest. I'm getting a bit long in the tooth, but that'd be something that in a couple of years I'll probably reflect on and go, that's pretty bloody awesome. So I am proud. That one made me really, really proud. Got to be honest.
Of course. Powelltown, they've obviously had a pretty difficult season 2024 after some recent success, but it was a great effort by the club to get a team out of the park every week outside of the one, given you had some challenges with numbers leading into the season. What do you take away from season 2024 as you look ahead to next year?
I think, bar the premiership success, which was awesome, it's probably the funnest year of football I've ever had. Early days, I remember, half-time of round 1 against Yarra Junction, obviously a big rivalry round, and you sort of don't know where you're at, and I think we're down by probably 7 or 8 goals, and I lost it at half-time. Absolutely let the boys have it, and was just, a bit angry at myself too with, the way I was sort of coaching, first game of coach, but I think once I got over the fact that I knew where we were at as a team, pre-season, everyone knew where we were sort of at, but you know, we really didn't know, and you think, you know, round one you're going to win, you're always going to win.
Yep.
So I think as the year progressed, you know, the week later we got absolutely pummeled by Hillsville.
Yeah.
By 280 points, didn't kick a goal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's, yeah, I think from that point on it was just enjoyable. Like all the boys that were there were, some of them hadn't played since, you know, unders, you know, under 13s, under 12s. It was awesome to see their buy-in, and they kept fronting up, mate. I cannot fault them. And we played 69 players in the series this year, so that just goes to show what sort of strange year we had. But it was, I wouldn't change it for the world. It was extraordinary. It was really, really good to be a part of.
Yep. In round 14 this year, mate, you did break the Premier Data points record with 336, but then you actually decided that wasn't good enough. So then in round 8, you went and broke it again with 348 points. And the biggest amount of disposal you had listed was 61. Do you pay much attention to the stats outside and all the outside noise during the season?
It's hard not to. The boys let you know about it. They call me Premier Data's love child. And you hear it on the field, you know. It's you know, from the crowd, from the other players and whatnot, and let alone your own players and your own crowd. It's I'm not about it. I don't like the limelight on me. But you sort of, I don't know, that they just put it up regardless. I'm just out there just trying to play footy and do the best I can for my team. But I felt like I had a pretty good year, and the guys that I had with me, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. Absolutely. Probably being the coach helped. They gave me the footy. Had a lot of handball receives this year, which I've never had before as a ruckman. But they wanted to give me the ball too. And, you know, try and set up. So
you were playing coach this season at awards night. You mentioned it was a bit of a balancing act being out there while simultaneously trying to coach. What do you think you learned from the experience? Do you feel like you have a new appreciation for coaches? Yeah,
definitely. Playing coaches, 100%. When I took the job, I was like, I'll be able to do it. No worries. You know, it's gonna, you know, players in the past that I've respected have done it. You know, Jared. And now, as the year went on, you know, I just look back and think, you know, it's incredible what they do to be able to, you know, be the leader that they are, and, you know, care so much about, you know, team success and everything like that, and, you know, trying to work out on game days exactly how to, you know, what to change, you know, flipping the magnets around. Like I said, last Monday night, I had Johnny Hadjar, who was our... I wouldn't even know what to call him this year. He was an assistant coach. He was just sort of put his hand up to help. You know, clubs was in distress. So he was so good, really good. And as the year went on, he just got more and more confident. A few times I had to say, Johnny, we're not doing that, mate. That's outrageous. But a couple of times we just rolled with it. And, he's I'd be lost without him this year, really lost without him. But, really appreciate, you know, more appreciation for the player coaches. Yeah, of course. You've recommitted to Powelltown again for season 2025. Can you talk about your connection to the club and what motivated you to sign on? So I got there in 2018, I think. So I was at Wandin. Hence why I was at the game on Sunday. So I got injured early in the season in 2015, I think it was, when they were undefeated. And I went on holidays with one of my good mates, and then had a couple of years off, and then went to Thornton Ilden. So I was there for a bit, and I was there for 1 year with my best mate James Ashby, who plays at Powelltown as well. And we played Powelltown in a game, might have been the third or fourth last game of the year. And just loved it. Loved the drive up there, you know, and just loved the people. Everyone was so friendly, and we sort of said to each other, you know, like maybe we should come here next year. So that was in 2018. So been there ever since. Seen a lot of players come and go. Try to get as many of my friends up there as I can. This year was a bit different. I didn't have a lot of my close mates up there in previous years, which was a little bit daunting at the start, you know, when those sort of people that you can trust and rely on aren't there, being player-wise. Was a little bit daunting, but it was a bit of a learning curve for myself this year too, knowing that I can do it, and just trying to manage people as best I can. but yeah, been there since 2018 and haven't looked back, mate, and won't look anywhere else, because I've always said to myself, once I find a place out of Wandin, I just want to give back everything I can. And yeah, I felt like they've just been incredible to me and my family, and so accommodating and nice, and just humble people. And yeah, the whole atmosphere up there is just really, really good. Signed a new coach in Ryan Hanley, and he is the most enthusiastic man you'll ever meet. I'm sure you'll meet him next year. He is just out of this world with excitement, and the playing group's just cannot wait, wait. And he's already putting things in motion, and some good things coming. So.
Obviously, you played in a couple of flags, and 2022 in particular was a drought breaker for the club. And just the second, how special was that to, provide that kind of success and joy for Powelltown? Yeah,
it was really good. One of the things that popped up the other week, because it was 2 years since, was the Channel 9.
Oh, yeah, of course,
Channel 9 lady that came out, Sugar, I think her name was. It was massive. Probably my favourite of the two, if you've got to pick one.
Oh, of course, like first one's always the best.
It's like your children, you don't like to say, but you've got to, there's always one at times, and at this time it's probably that first premiership, in 33 years. And I felt that we were in the club rooms, the old club rooms at that stage too. So last year we didn't really have anywhere to go back to after the game. That was awesome, because a lot of the old grand final guys from the '89 were there. And it was just something that I'll remember forever. Just the happiness for days on end, weeks on end. So.
No. Ben, thank you so much for joining us in the studio, mate. It's always a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll probably have you back here in a year's time.
Thanks, Aiden. Cheers, mate.
Well, that pretty much wraps up all there is to talk about in the Outer East Football Netball show this week. Remember, if there's anything you'd like to see in the show, leave a comment down below. Steph, thank you again for joining me in the studio.
No problems at all.
For all the viewers out there, don't forget to get your game face on.